Good morning. So, Rape Awareness Month. I was just having my coffee, thinking about rape. Actually, what I wanted to say about rape for rape awareness. And I was thinking about the different traumas I've had in my life. And rape was not the worst thing that happened to me. It was my dad asking me for oral sex. That ask was more impactful than, being taken and tied down and brutally raped all night, or being a runaway and a guy coming up on me while I was asleep, face down. That was awful. I think for me, it was my reaction to what was done, the story I made up about what was done, and then how I chose to react and respond to it. So people will ask me, well, how can you be intimate with your husband? And how can you trust somebody again? And how can you walk down the street? And how can you? Well, all of that was a journey that I had to heal my way through. So maybe somebody had a smell like my rapist, or a look similar to my rapist, and it would just catch me, And what I would do with that is I would go, wow, okay, what do I need in this now moment? Like, what's happening? This guy, I smelled that smell. Or, like I was in Hannaford and I smelled the smell of one of my rapists. This was years later, and I got into a different aisle that nobody was in the grocery store, and just asked myself, what do I need right now? Can I pay for my groceries and get out to the car? Do I need to leave my groceries in the cart and leave? What do I need to do to best take care of myself in this moment? And allow myself to feel it. A big fear of mine about allowing myself to feel my feelings was I felt like I was hanging on to my sanity by a thread. And if I opened what I considered Pandora's box and allowed myself to have my feelings, what came to mind when I thought about letting myself let go of my feelings was, I'm going to scream so loud and there'd be such pain coming out of me that I think I would shatter the glass of every glass window and vehicle and china cabinet around the world. I just imagined shattered glass from the scream of pain that would come out of me. Or I'm hanging on to my sanity by a thread, and if I allowed myself to stop being distracted and felt what I had going on inside of me, that would open up Pandora's box, and I would lose it, and I would be crazy forever. I would lose all hope of being able to hang on. There's all these fears, right? And the fears was my humanity trying to take care of me. Just like that squirrel is saying, where is my food? I'm sorry, I forgot to put your food out there, little guy. But that's not what happened. What happened was I did stop crying. My pain didn't shatter anything. And there were ways that I could release my pain, like a tennis racket to my mattress, where I could bang something and just yell and just say, how could you do that to a little kid? Different ways of releasing that pain. And it seemed like forever that I was like beating up my mattress, but it was like 5 minutes and I got tired and I needed to do that for a short season of my life, like maybe a few months. And then I had no desire to do that anymore. Or writing to my offender and then catching it on fire and just like throwing it out, to the wind. Taking the ashes from something that I burned, putting it in some store-bought manure, and then putting that manure in my garden in the fall. So it'd be good fertilizer, for my flowers. Because that's what we can do with our pain is we can turn it into fertilizer and grow something beautiful, a higher version of ourselves. So feeling it, figuring out what we need to do about it, recognizing that it's okay if something else caused us more pain than the other, like not judging what had the greatest impact on us, and it can be tricky because sometimes people would say, oh my gosh, that horrible thing, happened to you. And we feel weird that that thing didn't have as much impact as something else had. So letting go of judgment around what caused us the most amount of pain, and instead let's put the focus in on, how can we make that pain not stop us or slow us down from living a beautiful life right now. And it's okay if there are pullbacks, if we're walking through life and something catches us and it pulls us back for a minute. It's just another level of healing. And it does get easier and better over time. It just takes time. And time is going to go by whether we do our healing work or not. The difference between ignoring the healing work that needs to be done, drugging it, drinking it, exercising it, feeding ourselves, all the different sort of responses to rape and to trauma. Like we can stay there, or we can do our work, and at the end of 5 years, just have a way easier, more room, more inner peace when 5 years goes by, when we take control of our healing journey versus ignoring it and staying stuck in the behaviors that keep us, in it versus healing out of it. So that's what I was thinking about today when I was thinking about rape awareness. It is, I don't think I know a human being who has not been sexually assaulted in some way in their life. And rape is awful. All abuse is awful. You can say that it's not your fault all you want to, but sometimes it's like, I put myself in that situation. Or what was I thinking? Everybody wants to be a Monday morning quarterback. And again, there's wisdom in looking back and learning from that, but really a better use of my time for my healing is focusing in on where I want to go and how I want to feel in my own skin and how I want my beautiful life to be on this planet. So speaking of that, this is what I'm looking at right now. Looking at the lake. And there was a time after that trauma that I wanted to die, preferably a karma-free death. But if I had done that as a response to what had happened to me, I wouldn't get to be living my dream. So I hope for you that you do your work. Sometimes flies go by. Do your work and keep moving forward. Here's to us. Love is all we need, particularly from ourselves.